Good day everyone, welcome to Tiresome. My name's Mike and today we're going to be doing a proper walkthrough on my new Supra. And yes, I know, I need a haircut, alright? So I thought I would start, of course, in arguably the worst bit of the entire car, which is the rust. Now, as mentioned in the previous video, these arches are actually not too shabby up inside. It's the outside of here that's the bad bit, and I think possibly the worst bit is this, which we taped up for transport to make sure it didn't flap around. There, down there, lovely. You can see though that there is solid metal inside here, so it's just the sort of outside bit here, the inside there, to make sure that that's all good, and of course more importantly making sure that the water getting in there doesn't anymore, and this doesn't just happen again in the near future. But apart from that, it's actually pretty solid. That is the same. The doors and the bonnet there, and the front panel here, and the other door. This door's actually particularly bad. And of course the rear arch here as well. The sill here isn't as bad, but yeah, the arch is pretty much the same story. So these parts here, the quarter panel, the bonnet, the boot, and both doors, Tim already has. So those are just going to be swapped in, nice and easy. That's the reason why the boots get replaced, and that is letting water in. But it's okay, you don't need to worry too much. The floor inside is actually absolutely fine. Somehow, this is actually the replacement front right quarter panel. And as you can see, this is, I mean, you can see there's a little tinge of orange there, but it's actually solid. There's absolutely no problems with that at all. And this is kind of where Supras normally go, is the wheel wells, the lowest point of the car there, or at least in the back. Inside is a good story. Now, there's obviously lots of guff in here, lots of little bits, but it is absolutely solid. You can see, if I put the camera up there, you can see where the rear arch has just gone through a little bit there. So that'll obviously be cut out and done. But apart from that, it's absolutely fine. Now, I know it looks hysterical to say it's absolutely fine, and there's like literally a fucking bumper here. This is actually the original bumper bar off the car. The one for it, and indeed its bumper. Can't really get it out now, but you can see it's red. And that is because currently this Supra is wearing Tim's patented Supra moving bracket, which worked a treat, I must say. I towed something for the first time ever, and it was this car. So I'm already building a relationship with it. I know, it's fabulous. Obviously all the glasses from where we broke that window over there, and all the dials, gauges, button switches and everything completely removed out of it. But Tim has them all, so that is actually no big shakes either, and it looks horrific, or at least for someone like me. But actually, each one of those plugs is just going to go into a switch, and all the gauges plug in using those couple up there. It's really not the end of the world. There's the dreaded automatic. That will be changed. We're going to get an R154, well, Tim already has an R154 gearbox, and of course the manual pedal box and everything like that. So this will be swapped to a manual, a proper turbo manual, which I'm very much looking forward to, of course. Oh, I just noticed the other side. You can see it dangling in the air. This is just another piece, basically. This piece is the sort of, I called it the valance, but thank you Taz for correcting me. That is a slam panel, and that is the bit that replaces the bit right here where the logo goes. And if I punch that, rust falls down. There you go, lovely. Right, let's talk engine, shall we? Now the bonnet's open, you can see the sort of state of the the artwork under here, and it's, yeah, it's kind of, yeah, the bonnet needs replacing, but it's not to worry, we've got spare bonnets, man. It's not the end of the world. And I know this looks horrendous as well, partially because of the snail nest and you know, all the oxidization on the aluminium and all that sort of guff. But I've got to be honest, it is mostly complete. Anything that isn't there, Tim will have. And I mean, it all seems to be in fairly good nick. It needs a good old wire brush and some bits of, well, everything needs cleaning, but for the most part it is complete. Now the plan with the engine is to actually start by making it worse. So I'm going to be taking everything off, absolutely everything off, and then I'm going to be putting a HKS head gasket on it with the ARP bolts. That's sort of like the known thing, a multi-layer steel head gasket, and torque it down correctly. Rumour has it they didn't torque them down correctly from the factory. Some people say other things, blah blah blah. It doesn't really matter, but the thing that does matter is that from the factory, if it has the factory head gasket, you definitely need to replace it. This one has 117,000 miles on it, so, and I think Tim did say that it had been done once already, so to be honest with you, it's probably a non-issue, but I'm going to do it anyway, because I want this to be a Toyota, and I want it to be just turn the key and go. I don't want it to be a project car where everything goes wrong when we build the engine back up from this state, and then its head gasket goes, and then we're like, oh no, we have to take it all apart again. So, the head gasket, put everything back together again, obviously, with new gaskets all round on everything. The turbo in particular is going to be getting, we're keeping the same turbo, but I might upgrade the internals. I'm not 100% yet, but there's a company called Mambo who do new spools and such like for the insides. They also do like a hose kit and all that for the oil feed lines and everything to upgrade them if they're perished and so on and so forth. It's a few £100, but it should breathe some new life into the turbo, make sure it's perfectly good and reliable moving forward for the foreseeable future, and maybe even make a bit more pressure than it did before. So that would be lovely. Air conditioning, of course, needs to be sort of changed over to the newer type of gas and sort of switched over to that. There's things missing. I think the airbox is supposed to go here. I mean, I don't know what that is. That a resistor or something? I don't know. It's got heat fins on it. There's cruise control bits and then brake stuff and then ABS there, which is a whole thing I don't know about. And fuse boxes here. I haven't actually looked in that yet. Don't know what the state of this is. Oh, there you go. Look, it's all lovely. But obviously it needs to be put into place. What's that? The sad cable, as Vice Grip Garage would say, or negative cable, positive, yeah, you know, car things. But it's got to clean up lovely. And this engine, I mean, the 7M GTE, for those, well, the 7M in general, the engine is really a nice engine. Very early. It's the one obviously before the 1J and indeed the 2J Toyota engines, which are obviously famed in the Mark IV Supra mainly. But this is capable of making some real nice power for not much money at all. And doing it reliably. So that's kind of what we're going for, to be fair. I mean, first of all, I mean, let's back off a bit, shall we? There's other things that need to be done before we start even thinking about this thing making more than the 230 horsepower that it came out the factory with. One thing I will say is this here, look at this. I, for birthday, thank you Father, got a DA polisher, and you can see on the left I haven't touched, and on the right I have polished with some cutting compound, and I did do a very light sand before, and you know, I'm not going to say it's perfect because I don't know how close I can get before I start putting shadows on it, but you can see the differences between the original paint where the lacquer stops, and then where my polishing starts. I don't know how obvious that is to see on camera there, to be honest, but you know, I mean, that looks so much better than the stuff on the left. And of course, being a red car, that is the theme pretty much all the way around. The back end actually I think is pretty good. It just really needs cleaning. I don't know why, but I think because the front, where it was at Tim's, the front was sort of exposed to the wind and stuff like that, whereas the back was sort of hidden, and thus a van just drove past, really eyed me up on the way here, on the way to, like that way, and then this way, came past, and I swear he took some pictures or something. Okay, good. Well, if this isn't here tomorrow, then I know who's got it. But yeah, and I know this looks all terrible and everything like that, but this is all just dirt, really. That is just dirt. Obviously there's a bit of surface rust there. Inside the boot there is rust on either side, but this is just internal bits. It's not MOT styly. I will do it though. I will do it. Because I want it to be perfect. Sorry, I can hear that van circling. I feel like I'm going to get destroyed in a minute or something.
Another thing worth mentioning as well, I'm not going to get it up in the air in this particular video, but in order to trailer it down here, we did indeed get it up in the air. All four wheels were stuck. The front two don't have pads in anymore. The rear two refreed off okay. But we did need to get all four corners in the air. And that means that I have seen under pretty much all four corners, and the surface rust, but everything is absolutely cool underneath. That being said, I should imagine the bushes are a little bit shot. It doesn't make any squeaks, creaks, and everything seems to move and function okay, to be fair. In fact, it sounds like better than, some other cars that I know of. Over the bumps, nice one. But I have seen that there is a polybush kit. It's quite expensive, it's like £800, but that is every bush under the car done. Now, when it comes to it and I get it in the air and I see that all the bushes are just destroyed or should be replaced, then it might be that I just fork out and go for that somehow. But if I do that, then that's obviously everything under the car comes out and everything like that, which I'm not against the idea of if it means that I'm replacing them with poly bushes and it's going to be done pretty much for, however many years poly bushes. Well, those have been on there for almost 10 years, so they're good. And with that being said, thank you very much for watching, and I must say guys, thank you very much for your support. The channel has blown up recently, and I thought that you guys were all going to be looking at this and laughing at me, and as I said in the video before, like just thinking that I'm a complete idiot and I'm going to ruin it. And I mean, I'm not necessarily saying I'm not going to. I hope that doesn't happen. But most of the things that I've been reading and comments and things like that are supportive, and that is what I want to hear right now, man. I want support. There's another Tim floating about in the comments as well, who used to work at a Toyota dealership when they were spitting these out, and he's given me some advice as well. So if there's anything else that you guys could think of that could help with this project positively, not just throw it in the bin, mate, that would be lovely. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!